Hello and welcome to another VOD review. Now we are going to watch very close to a train crashing. The San Francisco Shock take on the London Spitfire. And London Spitfire is a team that many of us are very confused about and worried about that they are going to go 0-16. They put some of our concerns to rest recently about, you know, having a very good match up here against the San Francisco Shock. With the addition of Sparker, I think they've looked way better. The synergy seems to be there, but they're also playing their style and playing their game. San Francisco Shock are not playing their style and not playing their game. They seem very much all over the place. They don't really seem to understand what they want to do. Right now they have two rosters. It feels like they play the super roster with FD God, where they play these Brawl Reinhardt kind of things, and then there's the other roster where they play Smurf and Twilight, where they play these dive kind of things. In this series, the Super FD God duo doesn't do very well, when they did really well in their match earlier in the weekend. So it just seems a little all over the place. I don't think it's as much individual play. I don't think it's as much team compositions. I feel like it's just the synergy is off. Everything that made the San Francisco Shock great historically doesn't seem to be there. They don't have that secret sauce, you know what I mean? They obviously had a massive change in number of players like playing that they didn't have before. Their communication structure has changed drastically with Moth being out of the lineup and bringing FD God in. They're also changing their supports around left and right. They're changing their DPS around left and right. They're changing their tanks around left and right. Literally the only real consistent factor is Choi Hyobin being in this lineup and Violet being in the lineup in some capacity. Violet has been playing a little bit of DPS, he plays flex support, but he even plays main support at this point, playing more of this Mercy Lucio. That experiment is still going on, and as we always talk about when we talk about these things, it's fine until it isn't. And I think we're really starting to get into that point of this isn't fine. I think the San Francisco Shock needs to start finding some consistency in the players that they play, and also just their roster in general. They seem very much all over the place, and it doesn't seem like their performances are transferring from one to another, and then they're just losing maps and almost series to the bottom end teams. So let's break it down, let's have a look at it, and then we can look at it just a little bit closer so we can start understanding it a little bit better. Slappy O'Malley, thank you for the 16 months as well, by the way. Alright, so we're going to have Brawl v Brawl with Symmetra May head to head, so we're literally getting mirror matchups. Interesting enough, Hattie had a phenomenal series. I think Hattie has struggled a lot this season. Just playing a lot of different heroes. Never really stood up, but in this match he played really well. Definitely MTD'd super a couple of times, especially towards the end. That's a great wall by Nero, by the way. Actually just won them that first round. Has improved so much? I just think he wasn't playing to his potential earlier in the season. Leo Donuts, thank you for the 3 months. Hattie against the Uprising was, yeah, he's definitely not flawless right now, but he's definitely had some good days. Here's my thing about Hattie. I feel like Hattie is very risk to reward. I think he goes for some things, some very questionable plays, and when they work, they look great, and when they don't, they look really bad. You know what I mean? Alright, so we're sort of stuck in this stalemate here. Window, wall. Oh, please don't tell me Molfig gets away with that? That's on FD God. There's no way that should happen. There's no way Violet should just be able to get isolated that easily on the backline. Great play by Molfig. I think Molfig's been playing really well as well. Another person that doesn't really get talked about enough, but I think he's been really having some great performances, especially on this Diva. Molfig fucks this series. Yeah, he has a really good one in this match. Wasn't Hardy decent on the Winston? He's not bad. Yeah, he's definitely like, he can play everything. To what pedigree we haven't really seen a whole lot yet. It's also, when you have a team that's 0-10, it's very hard to like really get individual performances, because if the team is failing as a collective unit, it's very hard to stand out as an individual player. Alright, there's the wall. I like this wall. Allows him to walk down the side. Oh, Nero gets caught. Is the wall gonna go down? Is high noon. Okay, draw goes down. Oh, ho, ho. A little bit of a spicy play by the San Francisco Shock. Good communication, good play here. Boom! Love to see it. Forces out the beat. FD God's gonna mirror it because they get in trouble. Troy eats the Mailed as well. Shock just really firing on all cylinders right now. Blase gets his ult eaten. That was probably a little too easy for my liking. Troy loses mech, but that's a good play. Oh, never mind, he's gonna die. Shock gets the cap. Heidi gets Glista through the window, it looks like, actually. Look at these walls. These walls have been really good by Nero. Making it so hard for Heidi to disengage from Super. Spitfire needs to get out of this room. Yeah. That was greedy by the Spitfire. If they had control of the point, that was fine, right? But if they don't have control of the point, it's too easy for them, for Shock to just play slow and then engage at the last second like you saw they do. And they have control of the point, so they have nothing to lose. And they go to 80%. So it should be easy to climb up. And now, all of a sudden, all the onus is on Spitfire. They don't have many ults. It's going to be very hard for them to get into this fight. Nero's mail could easily put the nail in the coffin here. Oh. The classic, a little bit of a disagreement on what we're going to do here. So Nero obviously puts the wall up to avoid the high noon. Super has a different plan. Yikes. Oh, the high noon. The lift on the high noon, very smart. Almost works. Oh, Hardy. And that's sort of what I talk about, right? When we say, like, the risk to reward of Hardy. That is the risk right there of that was a really bad play by Hardy. Just gets himself isolated, gets himself killed. Good wall again by Nero. Gets the mail down. Yeah, you're just, Blase's just dead. Forces the lamp as well. Okay. The Shock utilizing the Symmetra very, very well there. Alright, let's see what we got. First fight. Would you still consider Shock a top tier team? Yeah, I think so. I would still put them in the top 5, top 6. They've had a couple of bad performances, but they're still, what's their record? They're still like 7-3 or something like that, right? 8-2, 7-3, 1-2. They still have a pretty good record. People just react to the losses. 8-2, yeah. People just react to the losses or like close losses way more harshly than they would any other team because it is the San Francisco Shock. And that's not wrong by any means. It's just like some people are like, oh, do you think they're like the San Francisco Shock, in my opinion, is still better than like the other middle of the pack teams, which is right now like Mayhem, Toronto, Boston, all those kind of things. I would still put Shock over all those teams most of the time. So. Okay, so we end up in a mirror fight. Good peel for Nero, getting them back. This beaming of the Sparker is just way more charged than Glista. Oh, that's a great wall by Nero. Once again, isolating Sparker and Hardy. And here's the like, people talk all the time about who is the problem at the San Francisco Shock. Nero is just never it. Like, Nero's May especially is so good. It really fucking is. It's just one of the best I think we have in the game. Like, I don't think his echo has been like astounding. I think it's been solid, but I don't think it like, you know, I don't think it's as good as some of the best we have. But like, I don't think Nero has a lot of the major issues that we got here. What happened here? How did they lose this? So Troy goes down. I guess that's the problem. Here's the wall. They get the cap, but that fire strike from Hardy just does so much work. That was a really good disengage by Spitfire, sort of giving them a little bit of a window and then counteracting. Like, I think Shock got a little bit too aggressive in a 5v6, right? Like, it's kind of funny that London Spitfire were playing hyper pat. The London Spitfire were playing really passive in a 6v5 advantage, and the Shock are the ones that are going aggressive. That's an interesting new visual bug. Ooh, Violet goes down. And I think Violet has a really brutal series in this one, actually. How does Violet die? Oh, it gets caught by that. Oh, and ooh, yeah, no, that was just got caught in the open a little bit too much there. Good shatter by Hardy. Catches the backline. Oh, Super says no. Okie dokes. Yo, what's up, Iron? How you doing? Alright, here we go. So, Shock don't really care about getting this high ground, which is probably the play. I think they recognize they're never going to be able to get up there. Oh, Super's just going to solo shatter the Diva. Oh, pushes him out of the lamp. Wow, great play by Super. Like, shatter the Diva, force the lamp, push him out of the lamp, and get the mech anyway. That was just a great play by Super. Like, legitimately, Super just, like, busted that shit wide open with a pretty unorthodox way of just solo shattering the Diva, but hey. You see Charge try to strike a ledge spot on this point and fail to get up there? No, I didn't see that. We gotta go look at that at some point. I do want to go back and look at a Charge game. Super said, fuck Molfig, yeah. Fuck that guy in particular. Oh! Window Fire Strike catches FD God. That felt a little too easy, but, you know, that was pretty well played. And here's the thing, right? Like, look at that coordination. That is really good. Oh, actually, FD got kind of owned by that. But, like, Violet's window is just really bad here. Like, Violet just is using it for himself, and it was even mistimed, right? Like, it didn't even get... So no one can really get any value. Choi not quite fast enough? Yeah, Choi should have caught that, actually. Yeah, you're right. Good Maywall by Nero. I love that beat. Both beats. Oh, D-Bomb wasn't very good by Choi. You really want that one to land on the ground. So, Bomb's a little high. Oh, the Hardy gets frozen out of his shatter. No way. Hardy doesn't. The fact that Hardy got... Are they gonna win off of that? That's actually ridiculous. Look at this play. That was so ill-advised. And then he fire strikes and kills Violet. This is just chaos. London should eventually cap it, and they do. We saw the risk and now the reward. That's true. The double-edged sword is there. Hot take from Pan Flipping Cake. A lot of time in Shock matches, I see their backline out of position / get caught a lot. It's why we see these musical chairs as supports by the Shock. However, I think Twilight FD God backline as a perma stay would help fix a lot of their issues. I agree that I think that none of their backline players... Actually, I think Twilight plays well. I think FD God and Violet have both been struggling so far this season just to get any effectiveness. I think Violet is just playing very, very greedy and very for himself and is just not really getting a lot of value. FD God has had a lot of pressure and hasn't really been able to have that many great matches. I just think the constant flipping of everybody is one of the biggest issues, which is making it really hard for everyone to perform. It's the same thing that I think Glister and Nero have had the issue of. It's their role is just getting switched around so much. They're only playing such a small portion because, like, first they were playing Violet on the hit scan, so Glister wasn't playing hit scan. Now Glister's not even playing hit scan. He's playing the Tracer and a couple of other roles. Nero really only comes in to play the Mei, maybe the Echo. So it just feels very all over the place and unorthodox for the Shock, and that's what a lot of the issues are for. I agree that Violet should probably be the one who gets benched. I would love to see FD God Twilight, especially with how prominent Anna is in the meta. See how that would work. But for some reason, I don't know what's going on with the San Francisco Shock, but Violet has never been benched. Throughout all of this, Violet has never been benched, and that raises a lot of questions in itself. So... So TP's there. Troy Herbin's on the point. Window v window. No one's really doing anything. Nero and Blase ultimates. Let's see how this goes. Whose High Noon is that? Spark is High Noon. Oh, good speed out of there. Oh, Glister is very lucky. Oh, that's right. When the question was whose Mei ult is better, the answer 100% goes to Blase. Gets the freeze onto Choi, drops the Mei ult, gets all three of these players, and Molfig drops the bomb over the edge. Bloop. Great bomb by Molfig. Great play by Blase as well. Like, literally the unsung hero of that. Yeah, like, and that's it, actually. That's a good point as well. The High Noon from Sparker as well forced them all behind this pillar that gave Blase the ability to get that really big blizzard. So, honestly, everything together. Luna from Bolfig Pov? Yeah, bombs aren't really interesting from a Pov. It was interesting. Like, we've all seen it get thrown over the wall, right? So now we go. The Spitfire are playing this Torbjorn, McCree style with the Brawl. So they're not really wanting to engage as much. They're wanting to play more around the Torbjorn and the turret. I actually don't like this hero by Blase. Is he going back to spawn? No, okay. Oh, Hardy just gets absolutely murdered on another great wall by Nero. That wall is so hard for Reaper to get an immortality field there. I really don't like this Torb in their current comp though. I think London came out here expecting Shock to play the Winston, and they're just not. And I think Blase needs to switch. He needs to go Mei of his own.
Our world is worth fighting for.
Okay. So they're trying to get space here, right? Is Violet's Mercy Briggs so much better than FD's that they willingly play him on Lucio, or is it just they want Violet in full time in? That's the question, right? That's the question that none of us have the answer to. Is FD God's Brig and Mercy really that bad? Like, I think Violet's Brig is probably better than FD God's, but definitely not. I don't think his Mercy is, right? And is it worth benching FD God and changing up your entire structure, put Violet on the main support? FD God's Brig is good, yeah, but Violet also has a very good Brig, right? Like, I don't really agree with it. I'm obviously not in scrims. I don't see and like watch all the individual plays, so we don't know. I don't have the direct answer to that. But according to Krusty, with the results of who they're playing in these matches, they say it is. Yo, what's up, Liz?
It's
Apparently Violet does a lot of planning. If he is part of their communication structure and that's a big thing, then maybe that explains why he is not being subbed out. Like if Violet is making a lot of calls, that would make sense, right? Like he is their primary caller. That's valuable to not want to take Violet out of the game. Could easily make sense because I don't believe FD God is a great communicator. I think he communicates obviously, but I don't think that's like one of his strong suits. As I said, I've never heard the comms of the San Francisco Shock, so it's hard to know. Custa's just scared to match Violet even if he's not performing well. We don't know that, right? Like we don't know what the reasoning for is. Like we can speculate all we want, as much as we want about all these things. The Shock are doing a great job of staying in this fight. It's actually pretty impressive. Let's go back and watch this, right? Spark with the high noon, right? Look at this. Spark with the high noon, forces super, and super dies, right? And this, you're about to watch a vintage fucking San Francisco Shock play, right? Nero touches the point at the last second. They're stalling. Nero gets the wall down. And then they high noon to cover. Look at how good this is. Like, they literally lost super, and they stalled enough time for super to be back into the point. And Spitfire couldn't close it out. I think the Spitfire definitely should have played more aggressive. They should have pushed it a little bit harder. They just tried to cap and get away with it. But then San Francisco Shock just come back, use their ultimates. Like that is vintage San Francisco Shock. That is great play of like understanding their limits, turning a disadvantage into an advantage, leveling out that playing field and just fucking getting the win. Like that's what makes Shock great. And we don't see that as much from them anymore. But that was sick to see. Okay, now just consolidate on point. Alright, Violet gets caught? How does Violet die? And they lose this map? I forgot they lost this map. How do they die? Oh, Violet. Ooh, I don't really know why Violet went that way. Lamb doesn't go down in time. Violet gets caught by Molfig. Okay, well, as much as I praise them, they did great there. That was a really bad mistake there. They just did not consolidate at all. Like, it wasn't even like the Spitfire did anything interesting. Like, they literally just, like, walked in and killed Violet. Violet booped him in. Yeah, Molfig booped him in. Yeah, but why was Violet there, like, alone without any help? Oh, Choi did not get the memo that they were going to disengage from that. That was pretty bad. That was a miscommunication from Choi and everyone else. They lose the bomb for free. Oh! And this is something that Spitfire do very well, is they definitely coordinate their fire strike windows very well. Was that calculated? I'm a little unsure. Maybe? Probably? Maybe not? That would have been the perfect time. It has to be? It doesn't have to be. Why does it have to be? They've done it before. This is Al? Okay, guys, you guys say this is Al as if I don't know what we're talking about. You know what I learned from playing in Al? That shit happens sometimes that you don't plan, and a lot of the things that a lot of people give you credit for aren't usually coordinated or planned. The game happens so fast that a lot of things happen that are just through instinct. And it's impossible to know if a lot of these things are properly calculated. The reason I think that this potentially might not have been planned is because of the timing of it, right? Oh, wait. Where did we go? It wasn't like, how do you look like he was throwing this fire strike for the, regardless of where anyone else was, right? And the timing of that is so close. So maybe Reaper was a little slow on it and it just perfectly came out, but yeah. Regardless, they got 2 kills. It doesn't matter. The way he looked at Reaper beforehand, yeah. And that could definitely be a thing, that he looked at Reaper and was like, hey, let's do this. I just don't know why you would ever coordinate a window fire strike through here. I guess it's kind of a corridor. But as you said, like, why would you put a window here? I don't know. It could have been coordinated. We don't know. It's the same. It's the exact same thing as the last one with the punch shatter that we were talking about in the Glads game. It's like, unless we heard the comms, it's impossible to know. Or like someone could confirm that they did it on purpose. Like, I think it's impossible to really know. And then, like, look at this coordination, right? Like, I don't think we've seen the San Francisco Shock attempt a fire strike window, right? They don't throw the fire strike through this. Like, you see that? Like, they don't have the same level. Oh, that was a bad mailed as well. Like, what? I don't really understand what the idea is here. Like, they throw the... They drop the window, so the team's gonna run away, but they've thrown the window, and then Nero throws a mail at the same place as the window, and then the wall can't isolate anyone. Like, that was just really bad by Shock. They just didn't coordinate any of their abilities or ultimates together. Custa assumes all windows are accidental because he can't imagine placing one intentionally himself. I think Super didn't have Fire Strike on cooldown, yeah, but that just means they're not coordinating it effectively, right? Alright, so now they got the window. Oh, that's a good aggressive shatter. Not letting Shock there play the slow game, right? Not letting them, like, touch the point with someone and then, like, stay around main, just fucking speed into them and murder them.
It's high noon.
Did you see Super's haircut? Yeah, I saw it. We've all... I am ambitious by Super, but I kind of like it. You know, we've all had bad haircuts in our times, right? The thing that I would tell Super, from my experience, okay?
Victory.
Super, you are probably a millionaire at this point in your life. Spend that extra, like, spend that $50 haircut. Go to that premium place which has good hairdressers. Don't go to fucking Supercuts. That looks like a Supercuts haircut. It looks like he's gone to some generic $15 barber and was like, was just like, yeah, I'll just have it short, please. And they were like, okay. And then they cut it like a 12-year-old. Just like I go to a nice place. I spend my $50. It feels expensive when you do it like once a month, but you know what? I've had good hair, and I've gone to the same place ever since I lived at Valiant, and I like the hairdresser because they've never fucked it up. And if you go to a good place, they remember who you are. They know exactly how you want it, and they do all these kind of things. He has so much money. Just spend that extra little bit of dollars. $50 expensive. Oh, okay, we're not girls, right? But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, for women, it's way more expensive, and that is what it is. But for a guy, it's so easy to just cheap out on it, but it's so consequential if you fuck it up. It really is consequential if you fuck it up, because then you end up looking like Super, especially with how much on-camera Super is. It's like, just pay, dude. Like, I think Super should pay $200 for a haircut if he can get it perfect every time on how he wants it. He spent like $50. Well, he's got to find a new place to spend $50. He's got to find a better place. Custa, look at this honestly. What is this? Okay, well, let's just go through this. The story he told me had me dying, though. It couldn't be enough to just get his hair absolutely destroyed by this barber when he asked for a trim and to leave it a little long. They didn't take care and he had no... They didn't take card and he had no cash on him. What place? There is no way you are telling me he got a $50 haircut at a place that doesn't accept card. What, like, is he going to some fucking back alley barber, which is like $10 for a haircut? Cash only. He's like, listen, I'm not gonna run. Let me go across the street and buy something and ask for cash back. Goes across the street to a 10-minute line, only for the cashier to say they won't do that. Comes back to the barber empty-handed, and the barber says he'll take Venmo Cash App. Okay, do you take PayPal? Please tell me Super has a Venmo. Oh my god, okay. So he's sitting here making a Cash App, and I guess since it's a new account, he couldn't transform money into it right away. He was getting an error. So he goes to the barber like, I don't know what to do. And the barber points out that there's a fucking ATM. Is there an ATM nearby? Wasn't the first question. How do we end up at, I'll go to the store and get cash back before we go to the Okay. So Super gets the money, pays the barber $30 for the haircut and another $20 as a tip because this one, okay, here's the problem. It wasn't a $50 haircut. $20 is a tip. $50 is the base price. He needs to find like a really nice men's place, men's salon that does primarily men's hair with the hair that he wants. Super, if for whatever reason you're watching this, just spend the fucking money. Trust me, it's worth it. I guess I'm sure he's aware of this at this point with the amount of shit he's gotten about his hair. It'll be fine. His hair will go back. I think the biggest issue is that everyone's made so much fun of him that he's never going to get a haircut again. I'm worried that he's not going to get a haircut again. He's just going to grow it out and become a caveman. He was pretty much always there, almost there. A barber? No. Don't go... A men's hairdresser is not just a barber, because that's where the issue, because barbers are generic, like, old men's people where they just have a guy who only knows how to cut their hair one way, and that's exactly how Super looks. There's so many great places that do, like, very high quality men's hair. Like, that's one I go to. And you are paying a premium, but trust me, when you're on camera a lot, when you stream a lot, when you have a lot of money, you should spend the money. Yeah, just talk to Space. I'm sure Space knows a lot of great places. I'm sure they're very different hairdressers, and they're probably going to need a different person to do different hair because their hair types are very different. But, you know, I'm sure Space can give him some form of guidance that isn't the corner barber. So you have a lot of money? I don't have a lot of money, but I have enough money that I'm willing to spend it because I'm on broadcast talent. And I can also expense all of my haircuts. Did I even expense my haircuts in the last one? Because it's considered a work expense, right? So, you know? Hair matter, yeah.
Come on.
Alright, well, Nero just opens this one wide up with the Hanzo. I don't know how I feel about the Tracer Hanzo. Winston Zaya, Lucio Anna. I guess they want to do it against the May McCree. And he made it work a bit, so fuck it, you know. Let's talk about your on-broadcast camera. Why? That's not my camera. And the problem is, this camera is really nice, right? Like, I'm sure you're talking about how I'm blurry. The biggest issue, remember, is we are sending my camera through the ether. And I'm also set up in a scuffed as fuck bedroom with a green screen with improper lighting. And then I have to record it on my OBS, send it to them, and then they need to put that onto a green screen setup in the thing. There's a lot more things than just like my camera. My camera looks flawless on OBS. Like, it looks really good. It's just the way it compresses and how the way it all works, the way it functions with a green screen and all that kind of stuff. You look, Chris, we're not talking about this camera. This is my stream camera. But my stream camera is actually the exact same one as the camera we use for our broadcast. So, like, it's not the camera. It's the way that it has to be done. Why isn't that everybody? Because everyone is living in a different room. Lighting, I would say, is the most important thing when you're using a green screen and you're doing it in the way that we're doing. And I can't get great lighting in here. Like, I have my 2 stream lights, I have a bunch of these other lights, but also it's just like really hard to make it consistent across the board. So, and also we're having the issue where my lens wasn't connecting to my camera effectively. I think if I reattach my lens, it does fix a lot of the issues, and that's why it looks very variable from day to day, right? Like, some days it'll look good, some days it'll look bad. Like for Johnny, you know how they fixed Johnny? The way they did is they got them this fucking amazing, incredible ring light to solve the problem. Yeah, 3rd light. I already have 2. I already have 3 lights. But it's more than that. I don't want to add more lights into my room. I already have so much shit in my room. Alright, so now we got the Spitfire spawn camping the San Francisco Shock with the Reinhardt. Yeah, I just need a really good ring light. But hey, if ours doesn't work, as I said, I don't give a shit what I look like. If Al says it's fine, it's fine. I don't care. If they say it needs to be fixed, then they'll work out and they'll fix it for me. Well, like, I'll have to be the one that does it, but they'll come up with the solution for me. That's what they did with Johnny. It has to be the lens, yeah. As I said, I fixed the lens, and next time I said I'm just gonna checking it more myself. So, sorry, talking about the game. We sort of got on a massive tangent about our cameras. So many ults, yeah. So the San Francisco Shock use, well, it's not really that many ults. It's just Dragon Primal, and like Dragon's a pretty hard ultimate to get value from. So, as I said, I don't really know how I feel about this Hanzo. Like, it feels like Nero should just play Echo, right? I feel like Echo would be good, but then they don't want to play. Like, why don't they just play Brigana Echo, right? Like, I feel like that would be more consistent. They seem to want to play this Lucio Ana Hanzo, but I don't know why you're wanting to play Lucio if you're playing the Hanzo as well. Like, that seems counterintuitive. Maybe they feel like they need the Lucio to be able to disengage. Okay, yikes. That's a yikes. Smurf off the edge. Taking L's. So that's Grav, and they didn't get anything from it. And Nero's now staggering himself. Oh, unless he gets the pick. I think he's still staggering himself a little bit, but it might be more beneficial for him. Actually, if he lived through that as well, that would have been actually insane. That would have been a really good play, but... Oh, Sparker died so fast. So good. That was a good dive by Glista, getting in behind. Like, that's why he dies, right? Oh, Shadow onto Choi. Yeah. Oh, nice beat by oh, that was Violet. I was gonna say FD God, but that was Violet. That was a good beat by Violet. And this should be pretty much Shock closing this round out. Sorry, this point out. Good stall by Spitfire. Giving them a bit of time to reset. Alright, what a Shock got? Oh, they got the Pulse Bomb, they got the Primal. They should be able to... They just need to stuff the doors, right? And you can see the Shock already doing a great job of getting up close and personal. Understanding that they need to get in positioning. Twilight really going in aggressive.
It's high noon.
Sparker. This is a really bad chase by Howdy. I don't agree with that chase at all by Hardy. I feel like they're losing a lot of positioning here for something that they're not going to get any value from, right? Now Smurf gets to go in. Oh, great stick on the Sparker. Yeah, I think Spitfire should have ignored Smurf. When Smurf went for that play, they needed to ignore him and just run away. By Hardy trying to chase them and like not really trying, like, get value from that, it just sort of split them up a little bit and then gave Shock all the space. How's the experience casting the match on the broadcast? Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to be able to cast. It's the first time I've ever done it. Like, even, like, I've never even casted, like, a tier 3 event or any, like, live event. I've just never casted before in my life. So, hopefully it was okay. I don't know. I haven't gone back and watched it, but I think my biggest issue was just tempo. I was just always talking fast. But, as I said, I'd have to go back and look to really see if I'm right about that. Alright, we got the male and we got Smurf primarily in the background. Male doesn't really get a whole lot of value. Smurf gets punished for that. Goes a little bit too aggressive. Oh, grab dragon. The tried and true classic. So Blase and Mulfi just staggering out the point. VOD review of your casting. Oh god, no. VOD review of the Buster cast. Oh no. Just hearing me say dumb shit. If he used to do VOD reviews of his casting, it was weird. It's just like you're doing anything, right? You always need a review. Like, I watch a lot of the death segments that I do back. Especially if I don't think I did well. I go back and, like, try and listen to what it sounds like. Stuff. I'll probably go back and watch my cast at some point. Just be like, get, like, basic tips. I'm not really trying to become a caster right now. So I don't feel like I need to do, like, a ton of review. Because it's not really going to be applied. But, yeah. Blase goes way too deep, I think, with that Doomfist. Just gets himself isolated. Nano onto Smurf. If this bomb doesn't get anything... Oh, that was almost a great play by Hardy. There is the reward. The coin flip that is Hardy doesn't come through for that one. Doesn't get the pin onto Smurf. Smurf actually just pounds here as well. Just swinging for the fences. Gets a shatter. Sideshow's going to review your cast to get his revenge. I'll know the toxicity. I'd love to get a VOD review from one of the casters that we have in the league. Because they have so much feedback, right? And it's a great way to improve is to listen to people who know what they're talking about and, you know, build on that. Do you think Lunda actually played well and might improve more? No, yeah, people are saying there's like, oh, London still suck. This is why Shock is awful. I think London played really well. I think they have their style. They want to play very heavily into this brawl. They don't play anything else. Like they play, pretty sure they play Lucio Bap like everywhere. So they have their style. They're playing around it. They're playing to their strengths and they're making it work, right? And I think they played incredibly well and they had a solution to how Shock was playing. Shock definitely played down, but I also think Spitfire played up and that's why they ended up somewhere in the middle. It's not like Shock could get suddenly bad enough to play against the London Spitfire, who has been like really bad at certain times this season.
Executing flight maneuvers.
Where's Bren? Bren's been having medical. His throat was hurting, and he went to the doctor, and they just said to rest up, so he couldn't cast for the weekend. So I think he's doing better now. I think he was saying he was doing better now, but.
Routing power to forward barrier. Get through this. I'm gonna have to shoot you down. This is going to hurt. Moving up.
All right, we got tiny Overwatch real quick. 1 second. Let's get in position and go. Okay, this goes down. Nero playing. See, this is what I was saying. They're playing the Echo Tracer, right? I think just playing the Echo Tracer is a good shout. I actually like the Violet Mercy as well. I think the Mercy is better than the Brig against what the Spitfire are playing, right? And that's what forces a switch of Blase. Blase switches to the Tracer as soon as he sees this kind of composition. Why are we in the room? I think the room is a really valuable thing to have, and that's why. So a lot of the defensive... Oh, Twilight, careful. Oh, good sleep. Good pulse bomb. Does Violet not have res? Oh, it doesn't have res. Why did he Valk? Oh, I actually don't mind that Valk. I think he was trying to get to the baby diva. Touching the point. Oh! That was ambitious. I'll give him that.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Oasis.
Oh, and then they used the copy as well. That was not a very good play by the Shock. It cost them a lot in a losing fight. Violet's gonna go back to the Lucio. I don't know why they like the Luciana. Maybe they just like the speed that they can play it. Oh, and they're gonna go back to the Hanzo. So it doesn't seem like this is just something they ended up on. It seems like something they actually believe in with the Hanzo Lucio. So, okay, let's see. I know it works pretty well on this defense. So let's try and like understand why.
It's Anubis.
Oh, that's not gonna work. Why is Violet playing main support? It's something that the Shock seem to be heavily leaning into. I legitimately thought coming into the Summer Showdown they were gonna put this shit to rest and they were gonna commit more to FD God, but they've committed even further into the direction of like playing the Violet main support. And I legitimately think Violet having to play DPS, the McCree, and now also the main support is one of the primary reasons that Violet seems to be struggling on the Baptiste and the flex support. I think him having to spread himself thin across a lot of other different roles has really hurt his ability to play his primary role. And that is why he seems to be out of position, making mistakes, things that we don't expect from Violet, because Violet is an incredible player, one of the best we have in the business, but he just isn't showing that in this season. Oh, great dive. Can't wait for the Violet Orisa, please no. You can see he's not very comfortable on Mercy, yeah. I doubt they're gonna put Violet on DPS anymore. Yeah, I agree. I think Arns will always play that hit scan. He got seen. He's got to run. Oh wow, he is so greedy not using that recall. I guess he knows as soon as he uses that recall, he's. It seems like Smurf and Glista have a pretty good coordination on their dive. Like, they seem to like, you can just tell, like, Glista doesn't seem to do as much on Tracer, but his coordination with Smurf is really good, right? Like, he definitely doesn't have the best Tracer mechanics. He's no striker, but he's finding the right opportunities and windows to go in. Violet Pov would be nice. We've watched Violet Pov actually on Eichenwalde before. His Lucio's fine. Like, it's not great. It's fine. S for serviceable, yeah. Think Shock would have won easier? No, I don't think the issue was not when they played these Winston dive comps, right? Like, I think every map that Shock plays Smurf, Glista, Violet main support, they win. They lose every round that they play the Reinhardt Lucio with like FD God Super. And I'm not saying that's FD Gods and Super's fault. I just think that the Spitfire really match up well against in the Brawl mirror. And I think Shock, so that's why like Striker wouldn't have changed anything. It's like you just like watch the Violet Lucio. It's like, it's fine, but it's not one of the best we have, right? Like, there's a lot of, like, FD God is way better. Not playmaking, yeah. He's not gonna win you games. He'll be fine. He's not gonna feed that much. Oh god. Oh, that was actually just unfortunate more than anything. Alright, we got the grab, we got the dragon, the classic coming through again. There it is. Violet wall riding is painful. Yeah, he was very slow going up that wall. You can get up there in a couple of jumps. Pretty crazy how little faith Shock have in FD God's non-Lucy heroes, and that is a concerning thing, right? It's like, is it... My question becomes, does it have to do with the calling, right? Is it not as much about the hero mechanics and the calling that Violet brings? If he is the primary shot caller, Violet's the primary shot caller, then I understand it a lot more, but I haven't heard anything publicly that speaks to that, right? It's just people speculating and rumors.
Nerf this.
Wow, Smurf almost died to that.
I'm back to fight.
Oh my god, Violet almost fed his brains out with that beat.
Resistance.
Okay, Molfig's having an epic duel to the death. Let's see this.
Circuits engaged. Winston.
Nice. Like Violet's fine, right? San Francisco Shock wins that one.
Ready for
Alright, and here's what I was actually really interested in. And I wonder if this has to do with anything to do with like third points and stuff like that, because we just saw the Gladiators struggle with this, but I'm surprised that they put in their Brawl team for Route 66 instead of sticking with their dive team, right? With Smurf on that Winston. Like, it feels weird that they're trying to force this Reinhardt. Because the Shock don't have a really awful attack in the next half. Does anyone know why Terry didn't play this weekend? And I actually wanted to talk about, I was going to talk about this in my cast when we were talking about Vancouver, but I never really found a place to put it in because it feels like the Vancouver Titans want to play Linksa on the May instead of Teru, so we didn't see Teru. But it is interesting that we didn't see Teru, who I think is their best DPS player, so... Don't Shock usually just play mirror? Well, no, they don't. They have to choose that before they know what their opposition's gonna play. And like they've already lost the map where they had to play a brawl mirror. So they definitely don't just play mirror all the time. Linksa on Sombra was painful. It's just more the fact that I just don't think Sombra's a good pick.
Time to raise my
I understand that consistency is good for the team, but don't you think with the goals that Shock have in mind, shouldn't we expect their players to set up and shot call when we're needed? Not every player can shot call. It's just not how it works. Like, there is some players that are just way more quiet. And when I say shot call, we're not talking about like every out player communicates what they have to communicate. Everyone does their job for the most part. Like, everyone communicates. When we're saying shot caller, we're talking someone who is thinking about the game and what they're doing as a team, what the opposition's doing as a team, and really adjusting in the middle of the game. Not everyone does that. There's usually only like 2 players, 3 players on every team that does that. And maybe that's why they don't want to take Violet out. You can't just like take Violet out and be like, okay, FD God, your job is to now be the primary shot caller. If FD God's never really done that, and he doesn't know exactly how he wants the team to play, he doesn't really feel comfortable saying what the rest of the team should do, and that kind of stuff, it gets really hard. The quarterback, basically, yeah. Like, not everyone can be the quarterback, not everyone can make plans and like really like think about the game in that way, and that's why people are valuable, right? It's like people like my value. Like, I was not the best mechanical player. I was not the best player in any of the heroes that I ever played in Overwatch League. But I think my strength was always in my understanding of the game and my ability to call that in game. Like that, there's a lot of players like that as well. It's the same thing with like Moth, right? Like Moth isn't the best mechanical player, main support we have in the league. Not by a long shot, but he's still great. He does exactly what he needs to do, and his calling is said to be one of the best. Anyone who's played with him has said he has great shot calling, so.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Diva.
Jake is a good example. Jake is a great example, but Jake is actually also one who, there's a good reason that a lot of DPS players aren't shot callers. Is because DPS players need to focus on themselves. They need to focus on doing damage, and they need to focus on their positioning and that kind of stuff. The reason why main tanks and main supports are generally the best shot callers is because what you fundamentally do as a main tank or a main support corresponds with what the whole team and what the opposition team is doing. So that is why it's generally your job to keep track of the ultimates, to tell everyone else what to do, and everyone else just does their job. And that is generally why. That's why I think it is very weird that we see so many teams flipping their main tanks and their main supports around willy-nilly. They're the two roles that I've always said that should have the most consistency in a team. Thanks sorry if it's a bad take. Hey, as I said, I have nothing wrong if you guys have a take that, you guys can completely disagree with me, and you guys can have your own takes and all that kind of stuff. The only people I really have a problem with is the people who double down on their bad takes. Like, you know, the guy who said that the Gladiators weren't a B tier team, and then the Gladiators went on to lose to the Paris Eternal. And then, you know, like other people who, like the guy who said that space was the problem with the Gladiators and is not an hour level off tank, like that. Those are the people I have problems with, and I will yell at. If it feels like I'm yelling at you, at your take, I'm sorry. That's just how I talk. I'm just very passionate. I have nothing against you. Oh, Shax just murders Nero. I didn't even realize Shax was in the game. Shax is coming into the game playing the Echo. Getting a lot of space. That was great. That was really well played by the Spitfire. Not really giving the Shock an opportunity to get in. Nero just gets absolutely blasted on that Tracer. Space wasn't good last season. I disagree with that. I think Space was fine last season. I think Gladiators weren't good last season. I don't think Space was the problem with the Gladiators. Wasn't much of a diva meta anyway, but like, people say that like, oh, it wasn't a diva meta. Space won the World Cup as Sigma, right? Like, he was playing Sigma during that World Cup. He took it to like every team. Like, he has a good Sigma as well. Like, he is still a very good Sigma. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people like Space. Here's what happened, and I'm not attacking you guys again, okay? But there was a Reddit thread in the middle of the season that said Space was not a good off tank, and Space is overrated as an off tank. And there was a Reddit thread in the middle of the season. I remember that Reddit thread. Here's what happens. People read that Reddit thread. They go, yeah, I'm just going to agree with that without any form of knowledge of what is happening. Then they agree with that. Then that becomes the narrative that a lot of people say. Then people find reasons to blame Space and then use Space as an example. And it creates this like manifestation into the world where everyone just starts agreeing with each other that, you know, Space isn't good and stuff like that. Space has always been good. I played with him. He was great then. He didn't play drastically bad. If you can show me stats, if you can show me VODs that justify that Space was not a good off tank, then I'll listen. I'll listen. I'm not unreasonable, but no one has shown me or said anything other than people saying that he was mediocre last season. And my point to that is always the whole team was mediocre. It's really easy to look bad when your team is playing bad. He definitely didn't have a great season last season, but either did the Gladiators as a whole.
Cease your resistance.
And as I said, my whole point is that I think there is this constant thing of people just agreeing with each other. And then, yeah, I would love to do an experiment of me just making an alt account, right? And just coming in with these, like, just sliding in on a competitive Overwatch with some takes every now and then. Just some things that are borderline thing. And then see how much traction I could get. Even if I don't believe in them. Just, like, see how much of a storyline I could keep, like, pushing about Overwatch League players and teams. And then see how much people would, like, grab onto them. Oh, that's a great dragon. It's gonna do a lot of damage.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Reinhardt.
Alright, that was a really important Spitfire. Oh, Shax with the shatter out of nowhere. Alright, good hold by the San Francisco Shock, because this is a really important spot to hold if you're playing this brawl. You really need to hold this close area. I don't know exactly what these headphones are. They're just Sennheisers. These are really old, so... Okay, well, actually, there you go. There's the explanation of headset. Said on Plat Chat, and that's it. Like, I also think Plat Chat... Sorry, we're getting a little derailed. I think Plat Chat needs to be held accountable for some of the things that they say. the rise of the Jimmy is 100% plat chat. And I will hold them accountable to that as well. Sideshow, I swear to God, if you keep telling people that Jimmy is good, then I will fucking scream. He played great on the weekend, though. He did play well. He did actually have a good weekend. So, as I said, Jimmy's fine. He is just fine. But people keep bringing this narrative that Jimmy is single-handedly carrying the Chengdu Hunters to victory when Leave is literally just fucking the world's biggest bodybuilder after carrying his team to so many victories. You have 30 minutes. Yeah, alright, speed run. Another good dragon. Oh, I thought I got eaten for a second there. Just to get Shax though. Yeah, actually, that dragon needs like if the angle was here and you're gonna send it down this hallway, that's great. But if you're gonna send it at this 45-degree angle, all it blocks out is this space right here. So they need to be at a better spot. Avril is mad at you that he turned Jimmy into a meme when he's not a terrible player. I can show you. Don't get me into this. If Avril can show me stats that Jimmy is a great player, I dare him to go into the stats lines, look at it all, and then tell me that Jimmy is a great player. I will be happily proven wrong. I want Jimmy to be good. But the stats don't line up with it, and go back and watch every VOD I've ever done on a VOD review, because I've done more than probably anyone else in the world of Jimmy VOD reviews. I'm the most informed Jimmyist in the world. Violet's murdering everyone as the thing. Very selfish window again. Oh, London Art look like they're getting the space and they have the closest spawns though. Leading Jimmy expert. Well, that's a good kill by Nero onto Kellex.
60 seconds remaining.
Pass into the ass.
Hello streamer, I heard from Plat Chat that your love for Jimmy is immeasurable. Thank you for supporting my boy smiley face.
Good pull, Dragon. Alright, Morphic gets hit. This has been a really good defense for the San Francisco Shock. It honestly has been. Like they've done pretty much everything right. As much as we haven't been like breaking every individual thing down, I actually think it's been one of the better ones that we've had. Like they're holding positions. They were getting ults. They had a great stall. They had a great stall on the second point, getting a little bit of space. But then this second point stall was perfect. Re-engaged over here for the final fight, doing everything they need to do. And especially if Spitfire aren't. It feels like they don't want to mirror the Rhine. I feel like they need to mirror the Rhine. They're playing this like a Rissa style, and I feel like that's giving Shock too much of an advantage with the Reinhardt.
Ready for battle. Hello. Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
What? Hello? Show cats.
Pass into the ass.
What are your thoughts on Philadelphia Fusion?
Philly's really hard right now. Philly, The biggest issue with Philly right now is they're so up in the air, right? Like, especially with all their players starting to get visas, it's really going to become a deterministic factor of, like, the rest of the season when we see what's going to happen now that they have Funny Astro. I believe I saw something that Shockwave is now in Korea, which I think is a really big deal. I think it'll be, this upcoming tournament, I think, is going to be a real make or break in terms of, like, people's opinions for the Philadelphia Fusion. I don't really agree with the brawl here from Shock, and I think the issue is that I think it's going to be really hard to displace the Orisa Sigma. They're sort of stuck on this low ground, just sort of hoping that that Nero and Glista can get value, but it's going to be so hard, and they don't really have a lot to deal with Shax unless, you know, Glista or Nero just hits the shot. I think they're going to, like, if Shax just plays smart and safe, they're just going to get caught in this room, and that's sort of what we're seeing here. Great pull into Super, really slowing him down. I think the Shock need to be careful here that they're not going to get isolated, because if Spitfire just play it smart, slowly walk forward, take the positioning back on the high ground, Shock are going to get ruined. I think they needed to disengage from here. Instead of hanging around, they needed to run. This is going to create a much bigger stagger, a lot more ult charge. Thank you for the $3, by the way, Joel Hub. Better than the $3 prior to that one by Jimmy Lover 69. Watching you, Jimmy Lover 69. Oh! How does Violet go down without getting his lamp down? Really good to see Sparker popping up immediately. Yeah, Sparker's been really impressive. Another Contenders player that I think he threw it too far away, so it didn't go up by the time he it landed. And that's a reset. Hey, kitty. Alright, kitty's always back. Come on. How do you walk? I don't think he walked out of his own lap. I don't think it went down in time. I don't think your May block would block that.
Do you think SF is a playoff team or even a potential whiner?
San Francisco Shock are definitely whiners. The whole franchise and the community, now that they've started losing, whether or not they're winners is yet to be determined. Like, they always will have that potential because they have that experience. I don't think you can ever count out the Shock until we get to the playoffs. Their performances this year haven't been great, though. That, like, gives me confidence that they're going to be able to overcome, like, a Dallas Fuel or a Shanghai Dragons, and that's the issue. Oh, Gusta goes down, Violet goes down. And this is sort of my problem with this Lucio Bap, like, Mei strategy that they're coming at is, like, they want to get in the face of the Spitfire, right? Like, they're playing a brawl. Like, this is a great composition to deal with this if it was on a linear, flat ground. But the issue that the Shock are having is they can't get on top of them. If anything, I would have preferred to see a Symmetra Mei if they were going to play the Lucio. Oh, okay. I'm a genius. I think they need the teleporter to get on top of them or maneuver around them. And I think that's going to be important. Nero blocked lamp LOS? Really? That shouldn't happen. Professor Beerhands, thank you for the 2 months.
60 seconds remaining.
I love, see, like, this is what they need to do. Like, this is great play. You take the TP, you just fucking rush them down, and then all of a sudden they've broken the Spitfire defense.
Excuse me.
Pass into the ass.
Remaining.
Winner.
Aya, what did you do?
Thank you very
What
much,
happened to
money.
the 2 caps that are on my Go XLR? What did you, how did you, where are the caps? What the fuck? That Aya. Get out of here. Good girl. She like muted me. She's heard enough of this Jimmy and San Francisco shock slander that she pushed my Go XLR mic down. She's like, I don't want to hear you anymore. I'm really loud. Okay, sorry. Let me turn my down. Sorry. As you said. Is that better? That's too quiet. Okay, meet him in the middle. There we go. Good. Better. Good. Perfect. We're back. All right, let's go. We got a speed run. We got 24 minutes to go through 2 maps after this one. Cataclysm averted. All right, so this is a sim TP under them. I actually kind of like this. They're gonna get mailed. They're gonna have shatter. They're gonna have deep bomb. Great wall by Nero. Oh, Hardy gets absolutely murked. Bit of a whiff shatter. Mailed's good. The Flux is good. Oh, if they had these ultimates and they managed to get a little bit more synergy with those, they could have been really good. Put it on 0.25. Nah, we'll just speed run through it. We're good. In Regius, thank you very much. No, Neko, thank you for the $1. Winner. And in Regius with Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, Lionel Messi, Jimmy. Who is the GOAT of the GOATs? God damn it. How did Jimmy become a part of my legacy? Another interesting window by Violet, right? Like another little, like this is so purely selfish, right? Like in a situation where I feel like this could have been dropped on the ground to get value somewhere else with your like Symmetra or your thing, like, or your Mei, he just like drops it on the high ground and gets 0 value. Also forces his own lamp out, right? Like it's just stuff like this that I think is like sort of splits Violet apart right now. I feel like he's playing too greedy on this map. Doesn't have the lamp, and gets pulse bombed. He's always done that, yeah, and now he's being held accountable for it, right? And that's sort of the issue, right? Like winning hides and like being successful hides all problems. And Violet is now getting punished for all these things. He's getting punished by the worst team in, well, theoretically one of the worst teams in the Western region, right? He needs to be able to like dial that in. Thank you very much for money. Jimmy is not part of your legacy. We're all footnotes in Jimmy's legacy. You're a part of Jimmy's legacy. I'm that, like, when Jimmy has, like, his Netflix original show called Jimmy's Last Dance, I'm gonna be that antagonist. I'm gonna be the antagonist of Jimmy's career, the person that was holding him down the whole time. And he'll be like, yeah, fuck that Custa guy, man. He was always pulling me down. You know, that's gonna be me. Alright, so they get the Diva Bomb, gets Sparker. This rally's gonna be really big. Violet dies again! How does Violet get caught by these mines? Oh, great boot by Molfig. Well played. Oh, Shadow catches Reaper in the back. Woo! Oh, that pulse bomb. The pulse bomb pull. If D-God goes down. This Mail. Oh, is the Mail gonna be good enough? Can anyone touch? Shax touches. How is Shax alive? He gets packed. Sparker slam. Oh my god. That was so close. Shocker literally fucking one extra shot away. And now we're in Stagger Town. And that's it. Holy shit. Shocker close to that. And I honestly just think it was a really ill-advised first point attack. They lost too much time on their first point playing that Symmetra, not playing the Symmetra. If they're going to play the Brawl, they need to have something that is going to be able to get on top of the opposition team. If they're going to be up there, you need to play the Symmetra. You saw as soon as they made that switch, they were way more successful, but It was definitely the lack of symmetry on the first point defense. Like their defense, their first point attack. Their defense was good. They held them before second point. That's a really good defense. But their attack, they just lost too much time. No, I'm no longer a cookie clicker. We called it quits. I'm pretty sure Dasso won. Dasso was the leader. It's went to map 5. Yeah. No, cookie quitter. Robbed in the final hours. Yeah, someone came out of nowhere. No, this is a quick map at least. We're gonna... So the Shocker... So the Spitfire are playing their slow comp. Right? They want to play their Orisa. They want to try and take space. And the Shock are playing the dive. So Shock just needs to execute a really good dive to get in space. They're farming Nano. They need to get the Nano before they all die. I don't know if they're gonna get there. Twilight's almost there. Choi goes down. Nero goes down. Yeah, and that's the end of that. Alright, so this should be where the San Francisco Shock composition should really thrive, right? Like, the biggest problem with Spitfire's composition, I think, that they're going to have is just walking forward, right? At any point... it's going to take them too long to take space, and the Shock are just going to go early, right? We talked about this as well in the Gladiators matchup. That's what the Paris Eternal did so well. They always played with forward tempo. They always went first. And oh, that was not a great nano. And by going first, even if they just get trades on effective trades on 2CP, they're winning the game. So, and that's something the Shock are very good at. Thank you very much for money. Octopelli, thank you very much, 100 bits. Custa, you should go on Plat Chat and go on a massive rant about how bad Jimmy is. No, I already feel bad about how negative I am about Jimmy. It's just like, literally, it's just people just keep baiting me and actually like... I don't want to be rude to Jimmy. I don't want to talk negatively about a player. Thank you very much for money. I hate talking negatively about players. But people keep just coming in with their falsehoods. Thank you for the 200 bit Shark Bait. Focus, I'm on it. Hope Jimmy beats you up on land. I hope Jimmy hasn't watched anything that I say. Or that no one in the Chinese region has watched what I say. Finally gets his back force out of him. I mean, he's better than Taru Cookie. Yeah, well, Taru Cookie is in his rookies as well, right? Like, Taru Cookie hasn't really been given a whole lot of game time. Alright, great play by Smurf. Gets Reaper into that corner, gets him over his lamp, and gets the kill. Oh, Violet, I would not have used that. We're fine. Alright, but once again, effective trades. That's all that's all the Shocks need to do. Just get these effective trades. Chinese fanbase is gonna cancel. I'm actually worried about that. When I uploaded that video where I like freaked out at Jimmy, I was really worried about uploading it because I just don't want to I just don't like being negative, but it was real bad, and I just sort of got really mad. That's the second time that Smurfs tried to go, by the way, with this Nano Winston and gone absolutely buffed by Kellex. I think Kellex has silently been having an incredible series. I think Kellex, historically, throughout this season, hasn't been great. He's just been, like, unimpactful, but I think he's had a really good series. I think on the Brig and the Lucio. Glitzer gets the trade onto Sparker. Once again, effective trades. Oh, go XLR cam. Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot I had that up. Jimmy's gonna see your VODs and do better out of spot. I hope he does, right? Like, I have talked negatively about players in the past, and like, I always precursor with like, I hope they prove me wrong. Like, I hope Jimmy pops off. Thank you very much for money. I'm the happiest out of everyone that Jimmy popped off on that Gibraltar game this weekend. Like, I want Jimmy to do well. The reason I started watching Jimmy is I was like, Jimmy pops off in this game, I'm gonna watch it. So then I started watching Jimmy, and then he just doesn't. He does the opposite of popping off. He actually feeds a little. Sorry, no more Jimmy talk. Let's talk about this. Here comes the rally engage from Kellex. Copy from the Shock. As I said, effective trades. Great pulse bomb by Glister. Thank you very much for money. Nice stick. I would love to see Glister really come into his own on this Tracer role, because I think he has the mechanics for it. I think he just needs reps, right? Like, if he can just get some reps on it, I think he'll be really good. Like, he was good at it, like, in London. Like, he looked good on London when he was. Yeah, and I just really don't like this Spitfire strategy, because I think with the Orisa Brig BAP, they're just too slow. Especially with Sparker on the Tracer, I feel like he can't do anything because his team can't walk forward to assist him, right? So I wish I would have seen them switch to the Brawl. I think they would have been better off just trying to play the Brawl rather than trying to play this Orisa. Get the Ryan, get the Lucio, and try and walk forward. What? Smurf! What was this jump by Smurf? Like, Smurf literally jumps, been like, okay, everyone ready for the dive? Okay, dive! Wait, where? That was not a great dive. As I said, as always, they only need to get slow trades, right? Glister dies first, but he's gonna be back real fast. They start disengaging a little bit. That cost them Bongo Pulse Bomb. And now, yeah, Smurf just has this primal that he can just do whatever he wants. You wouldn't get it because this is Al. God damn it, Liz. Alright. Let's go. This is the reason London has a chance, Gavin. It's the thing holding them together, you know, it's the glue. So they're going to play the Orisa Ashe Echo. So they're going to play an incredibly defensive style. I'm curious to see if Shock is going to switch up. So they're going to play the Hanzo Zarya stuff again that we saw from them on Eichenwalde. I don't really know if I like this, but they seem to be making it work. So I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. There has to be something about it that they like. Is it maybe the fact that Nero gets to play pretty free on the Hanzo? Gives them the opportunity to get these big picks. How does Glister kill Blase? Excuse me? Do you have like 6 minutes? I have 12 minutes. I'm making it. Oh, he gets body shot by the Hanzo at the same time. That was just very fortunate. And that should bust this shit wide open, right? Blase feeding? I don't even know if that was Blase's fault. I think he just sort of got kind of like bopped by great play by the Shock. I think the issue with Shock is when they're playing this, if the Winston Tracer really need to work together to sort of apply pressure in the backline. And I guess they're doing that, right? They just isolated the Orisa. Smurf's going up, isolating the backline. Oh, Violet almost got bopped by that. Oh, great nano onto Choi. Nano onto Choi pretty much. Choi's gonna kill everybody. Bob comes out. I think they wouldn't want that Bob back. They're gonna want that Bob and that Valk back. They didn't need to use either of those. I think they should have accepted that these are gone. There's a chance that Shock just come in with too many ults. Like they don't have the Valk to keep the Mercy alive. They don't have the window from the Baptiste. They don't have the Bob to stall the point. I think the Shock can just come in hard and fast right now, and this is gonna be really hard for the Spitfire to hold. Calyx switches over to the Brig. And like Shock are already on the point though, right? Good beat. Gets Hardy down, gets the lamp and the bongo. Ooh. I see the idea here, Choi. Execution. Oh yeah. That's actually kind of surprising that it doesn't even capture the BAP. That was a good jump by Reaper. It's kind of unfortunate it didn't catch anyone, but it was greedy. But Shaka just, yeah, playing too fast. I think Spitfire got a little greedy trying to hold that first point right there. And I talked a lot about that in my cast yesterday when we watched the Titans vs Defiant. Titans made the same issue where they're committing too much to try and win a very losable fight. And that's just costing them even more than that 1 point.
Ready for battle.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, Trash Panda. Just sort of saying that, like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but there has to be a reason, and people think it is because of the shot calling of Violet, and that's why he's always playing a different role. But I think it's spreading him too thin. So we're going to have a Brawl v Brawl. Same thing, but we're going to have a Sparker's going to play the McCree, and Glister's going to play the Symmetra. This is pretty common. Sparker almost always leans towards the McCree instead of the Symmetra when they play these Brawl comps. Obviously, there are some exceptions to the rule, but for the most part. Ingress, Langris, thank you very much for 2 months. Shady Kid, thank you for the 500 bits, by the way. So, Shock versus Spitfire. No, let's get distracted. Violet uses lamp early. Super goes down. Blase goes down, but the Symmetra be beaming. Bzzz. 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 Bloop. Changsik keeps getting MTD. Did you notice? Yeah, I don't think Changsik was going to be the best person for the job. And I think he's definitely struggling a little bit, right? Like, Changsik wasn't going to be the savior of the Vancouver Titans. He's not awful, but he's not doing great. See how this window gets used by Violet. Because I think they should step up with this window, right? Like, yeah, like, I don't think that window was very effective. That's fine. Good shatter by Super. Big. Will you stream your out? Where right? Nah, probably not. I've been having a lot of fun just chilling and not streaming my, especially the TBC ones, just chilling. I'm sorry.
Amplification matrix charging.
Someone else might be streaming it though. I don't know. I don't know if Pesh going to stream it or someone else might stream it. Bren might stream it. I know Bren's coming. So Bren might stream it. So keep an eye out for those, for Bren. So there's the wall, there's the TP, counters the high noon. Blase's mailed is probably going to need to be the thing that comes up clutch for them. Bren's streaming right now. If he's streaming well, then he's probably gonna do it. Alright. So we got Brawl v Brawl, we're getting a reset. Blase's really... Someone needs to use an ultimate. Violet drops the window, that's a good window. Nero gets the bink onto Kelex. Once again, no fire strike with the window. They could definitely gain something from doing these window fire strikes. And yeah, that's just clean by the Shock. That's just them playing the Brawl better than I think the London Spitfire. This is probably one of the reasons that they don't really try and mirror this Brawl very much, is they're not comfortable playing the head-to-head matchup. News, Linksa won the pizza contest. Pog. I don't know what the pizza contest was, but there it is. Okay, so we got the Symmetra versus the Mei. As I said, exception to the rule. The Spitfire are gonna go main, while the Shock are gonna go top right. Just want to say you were a great caster yesterday. Super fun to see you up there. Hope you get to shoutcast a bit more. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate the kind words about the casting. As I said, it's the first time I've ever done anything close to casting, so I think it went pretty well. I didn't like shit the bed. I think I have a lot to work on if I want to do it more. But it was still a fun thing to do. So Glister does a lot of work, but gets punished eventually by Sparker. I think Blase's like in the background. Like there's just a lot of TPing going around. I don't really know what's happening. But Shocker can get the first one. Thought it was Buster. Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. My evil twin. Didn't you cast the 2018 Al Talent game? Yeah, I guess, but that wasn't really proper casting, right? Like I was expected to do proper casting in this one. That was more of a meme of me just talking shit about the talent, right? That's not really casting. This was like an official game and stuff like that. It was very good. I appreciate that, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I was trying to stick more to the analytical side. And I think I tried to get some information conveyed across. I understand it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but I hope some people enjoyed it. Where is Super? What is... We're just TPing back and forth. Sharkbait, thank you for the 200 bits. 5 minutes. Focus. What game did you cast? I casted the Vancouver versus Toronto game. Oh, there it is. The window fire strike that the San Francisco Shock refused to do. Gets some value again against FD God. Oh, good block. MTD. Let's watch this from Hattie's perspective. Nothing to be said. I don't think there's any excuses on that one. That's just clean play by Hardy. Which is impressive. Super's one of the best we got in the business on Reinhardt, if not the best. So being able to get that boomage on him, you love to see it. Ping diff. Super's new haircut couldn't have him. Super's not used to high ping, copium. Alright, so let's see what we got. So San Francisco Shock stepping up. They got the wall. It's a good wall. Are they trying to break it? Yeah, I think here's the problem with the wall. Like, Sparker is beaming. He's just beaming. I think he got a little baited. Like, he didn't use any of his turrets, any of his TP. He didn't use anything. I think he was so focused on just beaming people that he didn't actually, like, offer a lot, if you know what I mean. So, maybe a little baited by the beaming. Brrr. Okay, so Spitfire TP to the high ground. Don't want to go directly to the point. I actually really like this play. Flipping on him. What are they waiting for? Oh, that was ambitious. If that had come off, that would have actually been enormous. That's a great block by Super. That was a really good block by Super. Alright, so there goes the wall. They're going to give Spitfire the cap. Spitfire getting this cap here is important, by the way. Getting this cap here means that if they win this long fight, then they're going to be at a massive advantage. They go aggressive. They get on top of the Shock. Bada bing, bada boom. And it does cost them a lot. And I highlighted this in the post show as my alt economy, best of the day. One of those sponsored segments that we do. I love Spitfire's recognition here. That they understand that they don't have a win condition. Their biggest issue is they don't have ultimates, right? They have nothing going for them. Understanding that they can't just play straight up. They can't let Shock TP to the point and get their space. They're just going to go, right? They close the distance. Hardy goes in early. Just goes aggressive. Gets the Earth Shatter. Boom! Super's not ready for it. Gets punished. And a massive heads-up play. And this is going to be really good because all of a sudden the Shock are going to have to panic to try and get back to this point. And now they have ultimates coming online. MTD! That one was less so on Super, I think. But that was still a good play. So that's a great wall. It's going to cost Choi. Actually, that was a really good touch by Choi. He's worried about Super Shatter. Good wall. They couldn't get through the wall. It would have been interesting. I actually don't know if Spitfire were going to win that round. I think that round was looking... That team fight was about to go very shock-sided. But hey. Great wall by Blase. And now we go to the last one. And Spitfire are going to play the Hanzo... the Hanzo Sigma. They're going to pick up what the Gladiators did. I don't know if I agree with this. I don't really like this Hanzo Sigma. They're going to play this off-angle Hanzo Sigma. I feel like the Symmetra is probably just going to get too much value. I don't love the Hanzo in this situation. I feel like it's just so variable. Like, you're just hoping that the Hanzo hits shots. And Spark is hitting shots. They have the better brawl so they can force the point. So they're going to get the early cap. And getting the early cap is really important here, right? Or... Are they gonna get Molfig? They get Molfig. Hardy goes down, takes Super with him. Okay. Yeah, and you can see why this was such a good fight for the San Francisco Shock. They just got 25% of that for the first fight. I don't agree with that Dragon by Sparker either. I think they're going to want that one back. I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish with that. Okay, Spitfire trying to come back into this. Okay, so window goes down for the London Spitfire. That's going to make it almost impossible. Oh, great wall. Oh, God. That was really good wall. That was great play. The window forces out a lot of choice cooldowns, and they wall him off before he can run. Forces Super to go to the point, and Super should just die for this. Great beat by FD God. Oh. Hardy and Frowny Town. The Mail goes down as well, so no one's able to support him. The Lamp by Reaper is going to give him so much extra time. They gave Hardy so much time in this room. And he gets near on the way out. Wow, that's a great lamp by Reaper. Alright, here we go. How did the Shock get back into this? So they have the TP, but they're going up against a Flux. If they play together, they're going to get just like 9-man Fluxed. There's the window. Yeah, I feel like Shock weren't ready for this, but I guess maybe they were playing in a style that they knew it was coming. Yeah, like honestly, they forced both those ultimates out, so if anything, they kind of baited Spitfire to go for that. This wall is a problem. They're going to be able to they're going to get the fast cap again. London really needed to play in a way which they could stop this cap from happening. If anything, I think Kellic should have beated to cap it, because they're losing so much percentage in fights that are like very much even, or if not going their way. This, like, imagine if they kept the percentage points and then Kelix does this. Whoop! Kelix with the 3K boop. You love to see it. Great play. The San Francisco Shock getting baited. The wall from Blase slowing him down, and Kelix gets the big boop. Every dragon is so late. Yeah, Sparker literally has not got a single bit of value from any of his dragons so far. Kelix has another 50 to beat, yeah. He's more of an arrow than a dragon guy, yeah, but dragon can be utilized so effectively, and I just think he just hasn't found the right windows for it. Oh, Shadow gets Molfig down. Oh, did that hit? And that also hits Blase. Oh, never worried. Oh, that Minecraft coming in clutch. Make sure he's landed on those corners. Glitster gets Hardy. There's a war going on over here. I don't really know what's happening. And once again, London lose the cap, right? London has lost the cap every single team fight. So even though they're winning the fights, I'm pretty sure they have more final blows than the Shock. They're just losing percentage faster than they're gaining. So now all of a sudden, the Shock only need to win one team fight, and they have to touch the point. Dragon is not bad, not great. Again, Blase gets punished going for that Doomfist play. Hardy gets frozen. Lamp's a little late. Yeah, I will say I am not a fan of this Hanzo pick. This is the second time we've seen a team try this Hanzo. Second time it's been unsuccessful. Just unable to get value from it before you get run over. You're better off just playing the Sim May. But San Francisco Shock dodge a bullet. And you could see that in their face. They weren't happy about this. They were relieved. You can see Super. He's just laughing. He knows how close that was. So, San Francisco Shock live to fight another day. They still have a good record. Everyone's freaking out about the San Francisco Shock. Just simmer down a little, okay? They're still good. They still have a great record. They're still a championship caliber team. Are they as good as Dallas Fuel and Shanghai Dragons right now? Absolutely not. Can they get there? Only time will tell. Big shout outs to London Spitfire as well. I think that was the best match they've played all season. They pushed Shock to the edge. I'm hoping we can see more of that in this Summer Showdown. So, I hope you guys learned a lot from this. It was a really interesting one. We even got a little bit of a Jimmy rant in there. So, thank you very much for watching. Much love. And I'll see you next time.